Hi everybody and good morning. Welcome to the grammar lesson today, and we continue with a different topic. The topic specifically is the ing form. This is also known as the gerund, and it's very important to know the difference between the infinitive and the ing form. That's the basis of today's lesson, when to use the infinitive and when to use the ing. And this is very important because lots of people make this error, and today I want to try and show you very clearly the explanation and the theory in relation to this topic. Thank you for connecting, thank you for watching live, and thank you for watching recorded as well. I hope you are enjoying the lesson. Welcome to anybody that is new. And if you want to make a comment, please put your comment in the Facebook page and I can answer your comment. I can respond to your comment when I have the chance, probably after the lesson. Okay, so contact. If you want to contact me on social media, you can contact me on Instagram. I also have TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, and WhatsApp. So you're very welcome to contact and follow me on all of those social media platforms. And there's some more content that might be interesting on them as well. I hope you can understand me very well. There are subtitles available, and if you want to select the option for subtitles, this is very good because you can see the text that I am speaking during the lesson more or less, and that's a good assistance and a good aid to help you. Sometimes I speak very quickly and very normally, and this is difficult for some people to understand, I think. My project is free classes every day, 18 classes per week, and it's for the public. The idea is to teach for free since the pandemic, and I continue at the moment. Okay, so let me show you my schedule, my timetable. This is my plan for the week. As I said, 18 different lessons per week, a massive amount of classes, a massive amount of content, and I hope that you will enjoy most of them. You can see the plan here and you can follow them whenever you want. Today we are a little early because I'm starting a little early because I'm ready, and I hope this does not affect you too much. So I might change the time on the list next week. So that's everything. If you want to support me, if you have the ability and you want to donate and support me, you can make a subscription, you can make a donation to my bank details or also through PayPal. And all the information is on the Facebook post in relation to making a subscription on PayPal to support me. And this will be a very good help because I have my expenses and I have my costs at the moment that I need to cover, and that's my only way to cover my costs at the moment. So if you can, if you want, please make a subscription and please support me, and I can thank you and mention your name during the lesson if you wish as well. In relation to a business or a company, if the company or a business or a school wants to support me, to sponsor me, to finance my project, I can advertise your company. I can speak about your business during this lesson and try to promote your school or your business as well. I'm very happy to promote your school because in this position, in this location, I cannot speak in conversation lessons much. So this is the best I can do. So I'm very happy to put people in contact with your school or your business if you wish. Okay, so let's begin. And this is the website we are using. I use this website every day related to grammar, and specifically it's the British Council website and the Learn English section of the website. In the Learn English section you have English grammar, and in the English grammar section you have the verb section. So obviously the verb section is very big, and today we move to the ing form of the verbs. and it's a very important topic, as I said. So I hope that you enjoy this lesson. Grammar normally is very difficult. Grammar is normally very heavy. Grammar is normally very time consuming, and it requires a lot of studying and a lot of concentration. So there is no doubt this class is long and difficult and boring, but this is grammar sometimes. However, it's necessary to spend the time reading and studying. So I recommend that you study the topic yourself. I recommend that you continue your studying, maybe from this page, maybe from the Cambridge page, maybe from your English grammar book. It's necessary to continue, and my intention with this lesson is to try and help you just a little support, a little assistance, and that is my intention, because ultimately it's necessary for you to study this topic yourself and study grammar yourself in particular, because it's a very important routine and very important part of learning English. You must read grammar regularly to really improve. Okay, and of course, your language, Indonesian, Korean, Thai, Portuguese, your language is complicated also. So I recommend that you learn your own language a little more as well. When you learn your own language better, this will help you a lot learning another language, and that is, I think, a fact in my opinion. It's very, very true in my experience. It's necessary to learn your own language. In my case, I learned English very, very well when I was younger, 18, and this allowed me to learn French a bit easier. So that's my big advice, my big tip, that it's necessary to learn the structure of your own language first, and this will help you learning English. And probably you might know that already. Okay, so this is the page. Learn about the ing form of a verb, and also do the exercises to practice them in the text. So level beginner. We can use the ing form of a verb as a noun. So first, it's possible to use the ing form of the verb as the noun. Okay, and here's a couple of examples. I love swimming. I is the subject, love is the verb, and swimming becomes the noun. In this case, it's the substantive and it is the noun. I love swimming. It's also possible lots of different activities. I love running. I love jogging. I love eating. I love drinking. They are all the ing form in the noun. And it's curious. Next example. Swimming. This is the subject. And it's the noun. The verb is the verb to be. Swimming is very good for your health. Okay, so that's the ing form as the noun. Next, you can get fit, you can become fit, you can become very strong and very healthy. How? By swimming regularly. And again, this is just considered the noun form. Okay. First, the most common construction using the ing, in my opinion, is the continuous. It's very typical, the present continuous, the past continuous, and the future continuous. To create the continuous, we need the subject plus the auxiliary verb to be plus the ing form, and this is how to create the continuous. For example, I am eating, the present continuous, at the moment I am eating. In the past continuous, I was eating. In the future continuous, I will be eating. So that's the most common use of the ing form in the continuous. That's my opinion. But here, it's possible as a noun. That's the first lesson. Second, it's possible the ing as an adjective. Okay, so the principal problem, the main problem today, this is the subject, the verb is to be, is prices. So the main problem today, it's true with inflation, is the price of products. So prices are the big difficulty and problem today. However, the adjective is rising prices, and rising means increasing, growing, and in this case it's an adjective in the ing form. So it's incredibly flexible. It's possible ing as a noun, it's possible as the gerund in the verb, and it's possible as an adjective. Okay, so in this case it's the adjective, and that's important. Next, that program on the television, this program, that program, these programs, those programs. So that program on the television, the verb was in the past, really is an intensifier for an adjective. Remember, adjective happy, very happy, really happy. This is an intensifier. It increases the intensity of the adjective. And in this situation, boring is the adjective. And you must be clear the difference in the adjective between boring and bored. Let me show you, because there's a massive difference in English between boring and bored. What is the difference? Well, obviously they're similar in significance, but the use is different. For example, bored with the ed is typical my sensation, your sensation, your feeling. You are bored, I am bored. For example, grammar is very difficult, grammar is very hard, and I am bored. You are bored learning grammar. But the subject grammar is boring. And that's the big difference. So I am bored, that's my sensation, but grammar is boring. So the object becomes the principal focus of the sentence when you speak about ing. It's very important because we have excited and exciting. So there's lots of different situations and adjectives that end in ed and ing, and they are different in the use. Okay, so I am excited, it's my sensation, it's my feeling, but the movie or the grammar is exciting. So the difference between bored and boring. Okay, so that's the example. The program was really boring. Boring is possible ing form as an adjective. Next, he saw a woman lying on the floor. So he is the subject. The verb is to see. In the past, it's irregular. See, saw, seen. So the past simple, he saw. Object, a woman lying on the floor. Apparently, this is an adjective. That's interesting for me because my first opinion is a type of a verb. But no, it's an it's an adjective. And the woman was lying on the floor. Okay, remember, preposition on is connected to the floor because the floor is the surface. Okay, so because we have a surface, we use on the television, on the wall, on my face because it's a surface, on the computer, surface, on the floor, on the roof, on the television, on the internet. So on is typically used for things that are like a surface, and the floor obviously is a surface. Okay, that's the second lesson. The ing is typical as an adjective. So the first ing form is typical as a noun. Second lesson is typical as an adjective. Questions? Do you have any questions? If you have a question, please put your question in the chat and I can answer your questions later. And I hope that you understand most of the explanation until now. Okay. Next, we return to the similar topic, ing forms as nouns. So this was the first lesson. The ing form is possible as a noun. For example, ing nouns are nearly always uncountable nouns. Interesting, I never knew. So remember the difference between countable nouns and uncountable nouns. A countable noun is a thing you can physically count. For example, phone. One phone, two phones, three phones. The phone is countable. Computer, 1 computer, 2 computers, 3 computers. It's possible to count the computer. So computer is a countable noun. But water, it's not possible to count 1 water, 2 waters, 3 waters. No. We count 1 glass of water, 1 bottle of water, 1 liter of water. But water is not possible to count as a word. So water is considered uncountable. Chocolate, uncountable. Money, uncountable. And there's a few more examples of uncountable nouns. So basically, there's a big difference in English between countable and uncountable. If you don't know, you need to study that area of countable and uncountable. So the ing form as the noun, swimming, is typically uncountable. Typically and nearly always uncountable. It's possible to use them as the subject of a verb. For example, learning is the noun. My learning, your learning, his learning, their learning. Learning English, in this case, is the subject before the verb to be. Learning English is not easy. Well, learning grammar is not easy. So it's possible as the subject of the sentence, subject of the verb, the ing, learning. It's also possible as the object of the verb. For example, the subject in this case is we, the verb is enjoy, and we enjoy learning English, and this is considered the noun. So that's very, very important to understand, I suppose. Okay, next is very interesting in my opinion, because here are common verbs followed by an ing object. And this is important because most people make confusion with this area between the infinitive and the ing. It's a bit complicated because some of them are flexible, some of them are possible the two. For example, like is possible infinitive after, and it's possible the gerund. Hate, it's possible infinitive after, and it's possible gerund after. But admit, the other verbs I think are more common with the ing after. Okay, for example, I admit taking the chocolate. I admit taking the chocolate. So the ing is taking, and it's not possible, it's not correct to say I admit to take. No, it has to be the ing. I admit taking the chocolate. I admit contacting this person. So ing, next. Again, like, I like eating chocolate. I like writing letters. So it's typical the ing, but with specifically with like, it's possible the infinitive. I like to eat chocolate. Perfect. I like to write letters. Perfect. So like is possible the two. Hate, it's possible the two. I hate eating fish. I hate eating, ing, fish. Eating becomes the noun activity. Or I hate to eat fish is possible as well in the infinitive. So this list is very simple in terms of understanding. I think people understand the majority of the significances of the verb, and that should be intermediate, and that should be okay. Finally, in this particular section, the ing form is used as the object of a preposition. For example, some people is the subject, the verb is to be, some people are not interested in preposition learning English. Learning is the noun and it's the ing form. So some people are not interested in learning English. Okay, and that's possible after the preposition. And a lot of people say this rule after a preposition. It's typical the verb in the ing. That's a typical expression. It's a typical rule that people say. I think it's correct. The majority of the time it's correct, and that's something to remember, that after the preposition, generally, we have the ing form of the verb. Okay, let's try some exercises here in relation to the ing form as a noun. So, the instruction, put the words and expressions in the correct order to make sentences. So place, put, position the words in the correct position, in the correct order to make sentences. Okay, so cooking, a lot of fun, be, food, Indian, can. The last word is the full stop. So that's easy to identify the last option. The first option is the capital letter, and there's two possibilities, cooking or Indian. And Indian has the capital letter because of nationality, but cooking has the capital letter because it's the start of the sentence. So cooking, cooking what? Cooking is the activity, cooking is the ing form, and cooking is possible as the subject of the verb. And cooking food, cooking Indian food, that is the subject. The verb can, modal, always is in the first position. The auxiliary is the ability or permission. In this case, it's ability. And the next verb is the infinitive, can be a lot of fun. So cooking Indian food can be a lot of fun. Option 2, sentence 2. Love my play, son, I watching football. So football is the last word because it's a full stop. Capital letter, only one capital letter, it's I. And this is the subject. So the subject typically is before the verb. What is the verb? Love, watching. So love is the first verb. And remember, after this specific verb, love, it's possible the infinitive and it's possible the ing form. I love to watch. I love watching. So the two are possible. So the position is next. I love watching. Watching what? Object. What is the object? Son. My son. This is the possessive adjective. Play. Football. And I think play is possible the infinitive and play is possible the ing. I love watching my son playing football is also equally fine and equally possible as well. Play or playing. Next. We soon, again, you look forward to seeing. Last word is soon, full stop. First word is the capital letter. We, this is the subject. What is the verb? Seeing, look. And I think it's necessary. We look forward to. And typically after preposition, it's the ing. We look forward to seeing. Seeing what? Seeing who? Seeing you again soon. Okay, so we look forward to seeing you again soon. I think that's the correct option. Again, the ing form is seeing. In this case, I think it's the noun. And it's in the ing form because it's after the preposition, I think. Number 4. The workmen bedroom painting, they have finished. Okay, so here we see the plural irregular because singular is man and plural is men. And singular is workman and plural is workmen. So the last word is the full stop, bedroom, and that's okay. The first word is the capital letter, and the capital letter is the. That's the article, the definite article. The definite article is used before the noun. So the noun is workmen or the painting. So we have two options. But because of the logical sentence, I think the correct subject of the sentence is maybe we can experiment and suggest the workmen, the people. And the verb, have finished, the present perfect. So the workmen have finished. And next, have finished what? Have finished the bedroom, okay, but have specifically finished painting the bedroom. In this situation, painting is the ing. And is this the verb form or is it the noun form? My first instinct is it's the present perfect continuous, but I don't think that's correct. It's the ing form and it's the activity. I think maybe it's the noun, possibly the noun. The workmen have finished painting the room, decorating the room. Two more. To relax, helps listening to me loud music. The last word is the full stop, to relax. The first word is the capital letter. Listening to, this is the ing form and it's the noun and the subject of the sentence. So very grammatical explanation, but listening is the noun and listening is the subject of the sentence. Listening to what? Listening to music, but specifically loud music. This is the subject. The verb helps, assists, helps me to relax. So listening to loud music helps me to relax. That seems to be the correct option, and I think that's good. The next final answer, how about a walk in the park for going? This structure, how about, is typically to ask a question. Do you want? How about having a coffee? Do you want to have a coffee? It's a good idea. So the last word is the punctuation, the question mark in the park. The first word is the capital letter. How about, it's a suggestion, it's an idea, similar to should. And next is typically after the preposition, it's the ing form. How about going? And I think this could be the noun form as the subject, and preposition go, we typically say go for. And what are you going for? You're going for a walk in the park. I think everything is correct. I'm almost sure, but we could have some mistakes. Let's select finish, and 6 from 6, so everything is good. So that's the ing form as the noun. That's the first part of today's lesson. Ing form as a noun. Second part of today's lesson, and again a lot of information, a lot of theory, but this is the second part of today's lesson. Ing forms as adjectives. Okay, so let's take a little break. And question, if you have a question, please put your question in the Facebook comment, and I can check your comments. I can read your comments after the lesson as well. At the moment it's raining very heavy in Dublin. It's very, very heavy rain, but yesterday was beautiful, a beautiful day, really magnificent, the best day of the year, definitely yesterday. And that's not difficult really, because the weather is normally terrible. But today it's returned to raining, but it's warm. Okay, so let me take a little drink. And we continue with the second part of the lesson. Okay, so the ing forms as adjectives. The ing adjective can come in front of a noun, and typically an adjective typically comes in front of a noun anyway. So for example, ing adjective in this case is interesting. And remember, remember the difference between the adjective interested and interesting. So ed is my sensation, it's my feeling. I am interested, but the movie, the book, is interesting. Ed, interested, interesting. So for example, the subject, I, the verb is to read, but it's irregular in the past with the pronunciation and the spelling. I read in the present. In the past, I read. The same as the color red, but the pronunciation is different and the spelling is different here. I read and I read. Article is the noun, and because the article begins with a vowel sound, we use an article, and the adjective is interesting and interesting. I read an interesting article. In is the preposition for the newspaper. In a book, in a newspaper, in a magazine, because you have to open the book, open the newspaper, and it's in the magazine. So the ing word here is interesting, and this is the adjective. I read an interesting article in the newspaper today. Adjective, and it's the position before the noun. Next. Excuse me, my nose is blocked a little. Okay, so the next sentence, we saw a really exciting match on Sunday. Subject, we. Verb, see, in the past, saw. A or a is for the noun, a match. And exciting is the adjective before the noun, an exciting match. but really is the intensifier for the adjective. So we saw a match, we saw an exciting match, we saw a really exciting match. So it's very interesting vocabulary and structure here. Preposition for the day is on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, Saturday, on Sunday, because it's a day. Okay, next, the ing as an adjective is after a link verb. And what is a link verb? I'm not sure exactly the definition of a link verb, but for example, link verb could be the verb to be, look, or sound, and that is considered a link verb. And after the link verb, we have the ing adjective. For instance, your new book is the subject, the verb is sounds, and this is considered a link verb, and therefore the adjective ing is after the link verb. Your new book sounds interesting. Adjective. Very interesting. Intensify the adjective. Remember, interesting, very interesting, really interesting. Next, the children. Plural, irregular, singular, one child. Plural, three children. Subject, the children. Can be, can is the modal verb for ability. So it's possible. The children have the ability to be. Annoying is the adjective after the link verb. Ing adjective, but also with really to intensify. So children can be really annoying. Not can to be, because after the modal we eliminate to always, and annoying is the adjective. Again, there's a difference between annoying and annoyed, so you must remember the difference here. Again, ed and ing, and the same with interesting and interested. So that's a very important part of today's lesson, the difference between the ed adjective and the ing adjective. So the children can be really annoying, but I am annoyed, I am frustrated, I am bothered, so I am annoyed. Next, it's possible the ing adjective after the noun as well. So the first lesson is possible the ing adjective before the noun, but in this case it's possible the ing adjective after the noun. So for example, question, who is that man standing over there? So in this case, the man, the affirmative, the man is standing, that's the adjective, and the question is, who is that man standing over there? Okay, next example, the boy is the subject, adjective, talking, the boy talking, preposition with talking, the boy talking to Angela is her younger brother. Okay, so it's possible the ing form after a noun, and it's possible the ing form of the adjective after a link verb, such as be, look, or sound. Okay, it's possible especially the ing form as the adjective, especially after verbs of senses, like see, watch, hear, smell. And after these verbs, it's typical the ing form. For example, I heard someone playing the piano. The playing is the adjective in this case. I heard you running, I heard you playing, I heard you singing. Excuse me. So I heard someone playing in the piano is this structure of the ing adjective after the verb of the senses. Next, I can smell something burning. So I is the subject, can has the ability, the modal verb for ability. The next verb is smell, and we eliminate to. We remove to smell, just smell, because it's after a modal. I can smell something burning. Okay, so the ing in this case is burning, and something is considered a indefinite pronoun, I think. So very grammatical, but the definition grammatical of something or someone, I think, is the indefinite pronoun. Okay, so I can smell something burning. It's possibly after the ing adjective is after the verbs of the senses, smell, taste, touch, here. Okay, so let's look at this list. The most common ing adjectives are amusing, boring, disappointing, interesting, surprising, tiring, worrying, exciting, frightening, shocking, terrifying, annoying. They are the most common adjectives. Amusing has the significance very entertaining or very funny. Tiring is the verb related to the adjective tired, and it's to make you tired. Okay, so studying grammar is very tiring. Studying grammar makes you tired, and that's a very important word as well. So that's an adjective. Tiring, amusing, boring, disappointing. Remember the difference between disappointing and disappointed. Boring and bored, amusing, amused. If your sensation is entertained, you are amused. Interesting, interested. Surprising, it is surprising, but I am surprised. My sensation, your sensation. Again, tiring is the movie is tiring, but I am tired, ed. Worrying, it is worrying, but you are worried, ed. So there's a massive difference and importance between the ed and the ing in the adjective and the end. Exciting, excited. Frighten is the verb, and the adjective is frightening, or the ed, frightened. Shocking, adjective ing, or shocked, ed, your sensation. Terrifying is the object, but sensation is ed, terrified, etc. Okay, so very important common ing adjectives. Let's look at the exercise. So again, put the words and expressions in the correct order to make a sentence. Tiring, adjective. The children are very have had day. Last word is the full stop. That's the first clue. First word is the capital letter, the. The is for the noun. The only noun is the children in the plural. This is the subject. The children, and the verb, have had, present perfect. Subject, verb, object, day. And what type of day? It's a day. So that's the first connection. And now we have two adjectives, or one adjective and an intensifier. So what's the position? Is the adjective first or the intensifier first? Very is first. Tiring day. So the day made the children tired, but the day is tiring. Okay, so the difference, the children at the moment are tired, ed, because it's their sensation. So the difference between tired and tiring. Next, disappointing was my quite this year birthday party. Last word is the full stop, this year. First word is the capital letter, my. My is the possessive adjective, and the possessive adjective is typically before a noun. And what is the noun here? My birthday party. That's the subject. What is the verb? The verb is to be in the past. My birthday party was. And what is the adjective? Disappointing. But quite is an intensifier or a mitigator, so quite reduces the intensity a little. So my birthday party was disappointing, but it was quite disappointing. So this reduces the intensity a little. It's the opposite to very, really, quite, rather, pretty. So they are mitigators. Okay, so that's technical explanation. Let's continue to the next exercise. Exercise 3, wearing that man, do you know, the green coat. So obviously the last part is the question mark, and the first part is do you know. So this is easy because there's only two parts. Well, it's easier. So do you know that man? Do you know this man? Do you know that man? That man is wearing the green coat. So that's the ing form. Next, is the public transport in this country system shocking? So first part is the capital letter, the. Last part is the full stop. The public transport is the type of adjective, I think, maybe. And system is the noun. So that is for the noun. Public and transport are maybe types of adjectives or part of the noun phrase. And what is the verb? The verb is the verb to be, is. But in this country, I think will complete the subject. So the public transport system in this country is more specific, and it's necessary together, is shocking, and shocking means terrible, very bad. Two more. When singing, I woke up the birds I could hear. Last word is singing with the full stop. First word is when, or first word is I woke up. I generally, anyway, has the capital letter, so the first part is when, and the subject I could hear, or I woke up. So I think when I woke up, because it's a time in the morning. The next subject, I, modal verb could, possibility, plus the verb hear. Hear what? Hear the birds singing. And the final word, final exercise, this extremely boring film, and is. So film is the last word, this is the first part, and that's a demonstrative. This, that, these, those before the noun. So the noun is film, this film, and it's the subject. So, excuse me. Wow, every day. I think it's the room. I have a lot of there's a lot of, well, we have the machine to cut the grass here, and I think because of the air, maybe there's a lot of grass in the air, or I don't know. So I think it's only when I'm in this room I start to sneeze and have some sort of congestion. Okay, so this is, and the adjective is boring for the film. This is extremely boring film, but an, because the next word is the beginning with the sound of the vowel. This is an extremely boring film. They are my opinions. They are my answers, but I could have mistakes. Let's check the answers, and everything is good. 6 from 6. So I think we have another little part. Okay, so we have a few more parts, I think. This is the last section. Patterns with the ing forms. Okay, so again, take a little break. Any questions, put your question in the Facebook chat. Any comments, please say hello. Please, it's more interesting for me if I see your comment. It's definitely more interesting, and maybe for other people it's more interesting as well if you want to comment on the video. I'm just going to take a little drink, and then we'll finish with the last section of the lesson today. And you can see the topic is patterns with ing forms. And what is this about? Let's see. Okay. Because an ing noun or adjective is formed from a verb, it can have any of the patterns which follow a verb. For example, it can have an object. So for example, I like playing, I like running, I like swimming, I like talking. But because it originates and it's related to a verb, it's possible to have an object. And in this situation, tennis is the object. So this is not the verb. Technically, it's a noun, but because it's related to a verb, it's possible to have an object. I don't think that's too difficult. I think that's logical. I like playing tennis. Remember, the verb like is possible to have the infinitive after as well if you want. I like to play tennis, or I like playing tennis are perfect. Two of them are correct. Next, I saw a dog chasing a cat. So subject I, verb see in the past, saw. Object a dog, ing form, chasing the activity. Object a cat. I saw a dog chasing a cat. Also, the ing part can be followed by a clause. And what is a clause? A clause is a type of sentence. It's a form of a sentence with the subject, the verb, and the object. That is a clause. And here is the sentence, I heard. So the subject I, the verb is to hear. In the past, I heard someone saying that he saw you. So that's a bit difficult grammatically. So subject, verb, object, or this is the indefinite pronoun technically. I heard someone, somebody saying, that's the noun, that. This is the clause, the new clause, that he, new subject, saw you. Okay, let's try the exercise 1. So look again at the ing forms in the sentences from the last 2 activities. Match them with the correct descriptions. So adjective after a link verb, object of a verb, object of a preposition, adjective after a link verb, adjective in front of a noun, subject of a verb, adjective after a noun, object of a verb, subject of a verb, adjective in front of a noun, adjective after a noun, or object of a preposition. This looks very, very, very heavy and very difficult, but let's try. So for the first example, cooking. Indian food can be a lot of fun. So cooking in this situation is the subject of the verb. Maybe this is the answer. So I'm very quick to make my answer, but I'm going to suggest it's the subject of a verb very quickly. And you can have the set, you can guess also as well. Do you know that man wearing the coat? So this is the ing form and it's after the noun. Yeah, so that's unusual. So it's the ing is after the substantive, after the noun, and adjective after a noun. Okay, so I think we're okay. I think that's 2 from 2. Let's continue to number 3. How about is the question. Do you want? It's a suggestion. Should we? How about going for a walk in the park? So going is the ing form and it's in the position of after how about, going for. So what's the object here? Adjective, no. Adjective, I don't know. What do you think? Subject of a preposition, if that's possible. Object of a verb, how about going for a walk? I'm not sure. Let's skip that one because I'm having difficulty. Again, next one, I love. So the verb is love, the subject is I. Watching is the object. I love watching my son playing football. It's also possible the infinitive, I love to watch. I love to watch, or I love watching my son playing football. And this is the object of the sentence, I would suggest. Object of a verb. Yeah, I love watching, so I think that's the object of a verb. Next, listening to loud music helps me relax. So listening to loud music is the subject of the verb to help. I'm going to suggest it's the subject of a verb. Of course, I could be wrong. And I think I will have a lot of mistakes here. My birthday party was quite disappointing this year. This is an adjective and it's after the verb. And I think that's normal. So adjective after. Is it a link verb? Yes, let's suggest it's a link verb. The verb to be. So I think that's a link verb, adjective after the link verb to be. So obviously, personally, I need to learn more about link verbs, but I remember to be is considered a link verb. Next, we is the subject. Look forward to is the look is the verb. Forward is the direction, and to is a preposition. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and this is the object, ing adjective as an object of the verb. I look forward to seeing you. So let's suggest it's an object of a preposition. Look forward to. Okay. Tricky. Next, plural irregular. The children have had, present perfect, a very tiring day. So tiring is after the verb to have. So let's suggest it's an adjective after a verb. Well, yeah, in front of a noun as well, because the noun is a day and tiring is the ing adjective before the noun. Okay, let's continue. The public transport system in this country is shocking. That's an adjective after a link verb. And yes, that's one option. So we still are doing okay, I think. The workmen, plural, have finished, present perfect. Painting is the subject, the bedroom. So the workmen have finished painting the bedroom. Painting is the activity, the ing adjective. after the verb or before the substantive. Object of a preposition, adjective after a noun, have finished painting. No. Object of a verb, adjective in front of a noun. Object of a verb? Yes, it's the object of a verb. So they have finished painting. That's the object of the verb to finish, I think. Let's hope so. 3 more, and then we have finished this difficult exercise. This is an extremely boring film. So film is the noun, boring is the adjective before the noun. I hope that's an option. Adjective in front of a noun. Yes. Okay. So 1 more, and then we have one space. When I woke up, I could hear the birds singing. This is the object of. Maybe it's the object. Let's check. I could hear the birds singing. Adjective after noun. The birds singing. Okay. Yes, it's an adjective after noun, and I think that leaves option 3 to be object of a preposition. Going for. Okay. So difficult, tricky, requires energy, requires concentration, and not easy. And I hope you can practice this yourself. But that was my help and that was my effort. And I think I have most of them okay. Let's check the answers. Fantastic. I'm very happy because I did not want to check again the corrections. So that's 12 from 12. Very good. Great. So that is the first part. The second part is just revision. Can you remember? So it's not necessary for now. If you want to do that later, it's perfect. Brilliant. That is all the lesson for today. And it's approximately 1 hour as well. So a long lesson as always. So the grammar lessons are usually very, very long, usually full of content, very valuable, very important. I think it is worth studying. But remember, when you speak naturally, you almost forget all of this theory. So I don't know. It is important to consider. It is important to reflect. But at the end of the day, you must try to practice speaking English anyway. Okay, so that is patterns with the ing forms, such as verbs, because the ing can be considered related to a verb. So it takes an object, it has a clause, and also we had this list of the most typical adjectives, ing adjectives. We also had the position of ing form as an adjective in front of a noun, after a link verb, after a noun, and after verbs of the senses as well. And it's also possible the ing form as a noun, as a subject of a verb, as the object of a verb, etc. And these are the most typical verbs followed by the ing object. Okay, great. So that's it. Well done. That's a very difficult lesson today. A lot of energy required. But thank you. Comments. If you have a question, if you have a comment, please put your question in the Facebook chat and I can answer your question now after the lesson. My schedule, my timetable. This is my schedule for this week. And we are here on Tuesday morning. Next, I have a lesson about Brazil. Okay, so normally it's Através Português, but it's in English today. And the topic will be related to Brazil. And later today we do some writing corrections as well. So this is the schedule for the week. I hope you can join some of the lessons. There's 18 lessons per week, an incredible amount of work. This is my project. It's a free project and it's a public project. And I'm very happy to do this. And I want the page to grow. So I want the Facebook page to grow. I want more people to reach this project who can learn for free. Alternatively, if you have the ability and if you want to support me, you can support me with the bank details here. You can make a payment, a donation, contribution, or you can pay by PayPal as well. You can make a subscription on PayPal. All the information is on my Facebook post, and that would be fantastic support for me. Alternatively, if you are a company, if you are a business, if you are a school, and you want to support my project, you want to sponsor my work and finance my project, you can advertise during this lesson and I can speak about your business. I can explain all your information or offers as a company. Social media, if you want to contact me or follow me on the other social media platforms of Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, and WhatsApp, you're very, very welcome to follow me on any of them. And hopefully I can help you if you have any questions. Fantastic. Thank you so much for today. I hope that you have a very good Tuesday, and the next lesson is very soon in relation to vocabulary from Brazil. So thank you so much. Have a good day and hopefully talk to you soon. Take care and bye-bye.